8 p.m. We're going to start off with roll call with the chief of staff.
President Lieberman,
Present.
Vice President Arlen,
Present.
Vice President Hernandez, Director Thomas,
Also excused.
Director Ford, here. Director Fernandez, here. Director Hurd, here. Director Vaughn, here. Director Lee, Senate President Smith,
Here.
Senator Kurtz, Senator Rhodes, here. Senator Tobin,
Yeah.
okay. Senator Joseph,
Here.
Senator Zialin,
Here.
Senator Del Rosario,
She's either calling in or waiting.
okay. Senator Powers, here. Senator Cordova,
Here.
Senator Hernandez,
Here.
Senator Newberry,
Here.
and Senator Robinson, here.
We're going to move on to the approval of our meeting minutes. Is there?
I need to approve last meeting.
Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing that last meeting's minutes are approved, before moving on to the approval of the agenda, we need to make a couple amendments. First, we need to start off with changing the conference line number, as well as Director Hurd striking HOSA and adding QRSA. So is there a motion to change the conference line number and strike HOSA and replace it with PRSA?
I move to change the conference number and strike the funding request, the host of funding request, and add USGD.
There's a second. Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll do that real quick. Okay, awesome. Is there a motion to approve this meeting agenda?
I move to approve this meeting agenda.
Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, this meeting's agenda is approved. Now moving on to quality of the audience. Senator Tobin and Ms. Trent, if you please explain your what your funding was used for and how that conference went.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So the funding that we received was to go to Citizen University, which was a conference based in Seattle, Washington. Our travel rates were 323 to 326. The purpose of us going, definitely still this week on the tour guide, but we were especially excited to kind of get to know what, kind of get more information about diversity and inclusion, understanding biases, recognizing the role of biases, the way we treat other people, and the way that those things present themselves in public, in public places, like high diversity campuses. So that's what we went for, and I think that we left pretty happy with what we got, and we're very grateful to the DAC for something that measure for us.
Senator Tobin, do you have anything?
Oh.
Okay, awesome.
Adding on to that, I think for you, specifically, looking at how we are going to be director of diversity and inclusion position, and giving more ideas in terms of what that position should be looking for, and how the best way to utilize that maybe being an advocate, being an advocate for social change. I think that the conference for me was especially useful in that respect, as well as in how other colleges are doing their diversity and inclusion.
Do any
I'm better, but I second that.
do any senators have any questions for them? Okay, awesome. Tyler, you are free to go. Tyler, would you please stay on the line? Tyler, you can stay on as well if you wish to hear your Senate meeting. Is Tyler Paley on the line? Okay, well, if he jumps on, we'll let him speak, or I'll yield before to him if necessary. Is that it on the above? Awesome. Now moving on to funding requests, is there a representative from PRSA? Also, could you explain what the funding request is for, and then senators, I emailed you the invoices.
Okay, the funding request is to pay for the food and like the swag and stuff that we need, like the badges, so I can put our names and our shirts and just basic supplies to run the conference. And you guys were concerned about it not being completely ASU students, but it's 80% ASU, and it's like a couple professionals, and we're just using it to just establish like a partnership with other schools. It's not really allowing them to like come in free; they have to pay something. So that's what I mean. You guys.
Yes, Director.
Just to clarify, so they're paying like for their portion.
Yeah, they're paying for their portion. We have a fee for them, and we're just asking for 75%. Since you guys don't feel comfortable with 100%, we'll do 75, and it's 80% students, ASU students.
Senator Immigration.
I'm just curious, why would it say, what's the challenge?
Oh, yeah, Director, please, explain
It's
that.
me and then the president, I believe, and then Vivi have all been doing correspondence because we addressed this at BBC like 2 cycles ago. But we turned them down for that reason because they were going to have professionals at their conference and they can't use our funds to provide for people that aren't ASU students. So
The professionals pay.
yeah. So we've been in correspondence and they were able to get another invoice but couldn't until the day of PAC, so we couldn't address the PAC, and they made their case to me as to why we should address it today because we've already taken a look at the conference. It would be too late to address it at
Any senators or board members have any further questions? Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All in favor of approving the PRSA funding request, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Aye, you're awesome.
Thank
So
you.
we'll be in contact with you. Now moving on to first read legislation, starting with Senate Resolution 18. Senator Spellbein, I'm not sure if you actually have the documentation in front of you, but would you like to introduce the piece? Did you wrote it?
Yeah, so I did know that.
Okay, awesome.
So looking at Senate Resolution 18, basically it's just in support of Arizona House Bill 2202. The House Bill 2202 would require the Arizona Department of Education to develop and maintain a dyslexia handbook, provide guidance for students and teachers. Looking at it from that standpoint, obviously, as a university, we always live by the model of who we include and not who we exclude. Looking at it from that standpoint, we always want to see as possible to be as diverse as possible. And so with that, really including and making sure that neurological disorders such as dyslexia are things that we should in fact support, and we should in fact support the success out of those because of the fact that we need to be as a group diverse and make sure that we are putting on the correct idea of what we are trying to accomplish as a college.
Awesome.
Thank you, Senator. I just had one question for you, and I want to know, because this has been passed by both the State House and State Senate, and is awaiting approval by the governor. How are you hoping for us to follow up on this action? Do you want us to write some kind of letter to the governor in support? How are we going to follow up on this resolution should it pass?
I think that a letter to the governor is just making sure that he knows that we at Arizona State support this. That way, he can sign it into law. Because again, this is something that is going to be required for high school, but looking at it from, from high school going into college, we have the resources, just disability resources, things like that already in place to have every high school off to doing. So making sure that the governor does sign into play would be kind of vital for us to then continue on utilizing it when we go to college, when students go to college via disability resources.
And then just a point of clarification, I made a mistake in procedure. Is there a motion to discuss?
Move to discuss.
Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, this is on the floor for discussion. Kelly, did you want to continue that line?
No, I mean, that was my intent.
Okay, awesome. Senator Robinson and then Rivera.
So my question is, what's going to be in the handbook? As we're reading on this, like, the handbook, and guidance, what kind of guidance is that going to be? Is it going to be a big handbook, or a pamphlet? I don't know, I just think, I just am curious as to what it's going to tell, and like how that's going to help. But the board,
So,
go ahead.
I would say, so the Department of Education is going to develop a handbook that's going to be used in schools that basically have guidelines for teachers and parents to identify dyslexia. And then it's also going to have a description of educational strategies that have been shown to improve the academic performance of people with dyslexia, as well as resources and services that are available to people with dyslexia and to teachers and parents of students with dyslexia. So that's what the handbook is going to entail.
Is the training not something that they're already going through in Arizona?
It's, Senator Jovan, it's not a formal process. It's more, if some teachers may have experience, some teachers may not. Senator Rivera, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So earlier this year, we passed a resolution about smoking on campus and amended it after first read to include specific actions that we would be taking, committing us to supporting that type of legislation. So I'm just curious how this resolution, one, directly impacts our students right now, and two, how this resolution commits us to making a difference and looking for our students rather than just writing.
So Senator Jovan, if I may, in terms of directly affecting our students right now, it does not. In terms of possibly affecting future students, it does. With the implementation of this program, it'll allow for teachers to recognize very much a debilitating set of circumstances for some students, which would allow ASU, as well as U of A, as well as NAU, to possibly garner students that would not have been able to enjoy higher ed had they not been diagnosed or had these symptoms not been recognized prior. So it is just promoting inclusiveness of all students, regardless of their needs. I don't believe this piece of legislation goes farther than the scope of our responsibilities. I know that in BAC, we funded a program, or rather a trip for Sparks. I may be incorrect on the exact set of certain things, whether it's a trip or whether it's a program, to help those students who would have otherwise not been looking for college or the higher ed opportunities and are now because of Sparks, or possibly are because of Sparks. In terms of following through on this, I think that's very difficult for us because we aren't the Department of Ed, we aren't state legislators. The most we can do, I feel right now, is voice our support for it. I think the program that we could push rather should stand on the line. And I think what Senator Jovan said in regards to a letter to the governor, voicing our support of inclusiveness and the respect for all students and all their needs. I'm going to go to President Ingerman, and you guys are pretty close. If you want to, okay, that's Senator Robinson, you there.
Thank you, Senator President Smith. And Senator Jovan, I think you did an excellent job in working with the school state. Excuse me, listening to voice behind this bill in the sense that ASU is a university that applies itself into the industry and how they would see rather than being excluded. But with that being said, ASU is an institution that welcomes students from all walks of life, regardless of their pre-existing conditions in the form of disabilities. And even the bill does state that there are currently 4,000 students who are currently serving capacity at the DRC at ASU who are studying at ASU with disabilities. So it's important these voices are advocacy, not only as a student government, but advocates for all students within this really support. So to say that this bill doesn't have a direct effect, it definitely does, because it definitely say that this signifies our organization's community, our organization's community, but not only that, just the students representing employee committees representing our students. Senator Robinson.
Yeah, so, if this is the first year going, I would like to see something added saying what we're gonna do about it, so saying we're gonna do the stands by, writing a letter to the governor or something like that. And then my other kind of question is, this is more for you and Tyler, are we concerned that this isn't going to be signed by the governor, so that it's not considered in the house, or the majority?
I don't know Senator Trowine, or I can speak to the exact mindset of the governor, but I do know that regardless of his position, if we were to pass this or pass it next cycle, voicing our support wouldn't necessarily change his mind, because I don't know what his mind is right now. It would simply be a supportive voice. Because I've been researching this bill a lot. It was something I was passionate about, and glad Senator Trowine took the lead on this. But there hasn't been a lot of press coverage in regards to this one. Senator Newberry?
That kind of answers my question, but in response to what you said, so is the point of this to get us?
No, not at all. The point of this is to voice our support for this piece of legislation. I don't see a single member of the press here right now. So and I hadn't even considered the letter. I think is an excellent idea to the governor. It's an even more formal way of voicing our support, or rather, a more direct way of voicing our support. But I don't think that was my intention at all to get more press coverage. I think this is a good bill just because of, or rather, legislation, just because it does put students' needs and our students, the state of the students of Arizona's needs very much in high regard. Yes.
So then I would just agree with Senator Robinson that this should be amended to what we're going to actually do about it. And in my opinion, in order to best reflect the university, that letter to the governor should be included in what's on the university and like that.
That's a fantastic idea. So hypothetically, after it resolved, be further resolved, the undergraduate student government would sit down with the GRC and write a letter to the governor, something along those lines, in terms of supporting. I'm cool with that. Does anyone else have any further discussion on this legislation?
Maybe something to that is holding us responsible for that rather than just saying this.
Yeah, and we can just definitely discuss the specifics at it and go off to the conference next week. Any more discussion? Is there a motion to move this to second read of the 15th regular session on April 14th?
Move to move this piece of legislation to the next Senate meeting, which is on the 15th.
14th. Awesome. See, are there any or can you rescind your motion, rather? Can you rescind it first? Do you guys want to do this by acclamation? Is there anyone opposed to by acclamation, or do you want to go all in? But this isn't even formally supporting it, it's just saying we want to hear it again. Okay. Maybe, right? I know what you're about to say.
It's removing it from the first read, second read. It should just be a beta application without having to discuss that.
Right there. The minute I said it, I knew it.
You're not actually voting on this being active.
Yeah.
That's why that's happened. So every time you move it from first to second read, regardless of what meeting you're going to, it should be
Awesome.
procedural.
Can you move it to second read on 14th, please?
Yeah, I move to move this piece of legislation to the next Senate meeting, which is on the 14th.
Awesome. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this is moved to second read of the next meeting. Now moving on to Senate Resolution 19, support of Arizona House Bill or Senate Bill 1040. Would you like to read this?
Very simple bill. It's just a resolution in support of SB 1040. As a
sort of just provide some financial aid and local college students who collected and graduated their teach on low income, rural areas or Indian reservations. The idea behind this bill is just that, you know, a lot of times our students graduate, they have loans, and because they're looking for keeping jobs and enter the storage communities such as the ones I mentioned, just because they don't have enough money to give them adequate wages. So for that reason, they lack, so they'll get some high levels of teachers. So, Senator Allen, she is from the rural area, so she proposed this bill, so hopefully she can't just raise their wages, but hopefully they can get their debt, so that way they're able to go to places where purpose is as well. Senator first.
If this has to do with teaching, don't be teachers now, you know, the teaching policy.
No, I unfortunately did not speak about any separate candidates. My idea was just that, you know, I think a lot of the times we wasn't represent a student's home, so that's a closest resolution. And also, I think there will be a couple of our students that might actually.
Oh, sorry, Senator Roberts.
I have two. Okay, so the first one is there's not a teacher's school downtown, so we're supposed to be like, maybe
Point of clarification, if I may, the graduate teacher for downtown. Yeah, so,
we're not graduate students, so that's my question. And then my second question, isn't this really similar to what we're already being set up by Teach for America? So like why would we need something like this when there's already a way to do it?
point of clarification again on that, Teach for America in terms of the proposed federal budget is very much on the chopping blocks. So I would say that this is different than that. But also, another point of clarification, this was, it passed unanimously in the Senate, it passed 10-1 in House Education, but that was killed, in rules by Representative Mesnar. So this is simply a, not metaphorical, symbolic, support, thank you for that. So this is just saying, this idea, this piece of legislation, we are in favor in.
And I understand this term, as far as something as well, we will have teachers or students, teachers here on campus. I think sometimes some of our responses, especially English, have to take action to support the strength and that makes any use. So that was my reason behind it.
Senator Newberry and Senator.
I think for second read, there should be some sort of communication about this, since that is what the school is for the most part.
Yeah.
And also, again, some action that we can hold this organization accountable for actually doing about it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, oftentimes the programs like Teach for America are involved with neighbors who are not in just the teaching college. So, for example, a lot of times maybe some downtown students are part of the program. So, whether they're not directly in the teachers college, they are still become future teachers. So that can count. And that is back to his point about like us writing this legislation. I think has sparked the idea for SMP, like one of those that we submitted here, and all of them.
Is there any further discussion on this? With those amendments and all those points in mind, we can also discuss the development office as well, to have the specifics. Do we want to, is there a motion to move this to second read of next meeting for the 15th radio session on 14th?
I'm going to move this piece of legislation to the next Senate meeting, which is April 14th.
Awesome. Now moving on to Senate Resolution. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Now moving on to Senate Resolution 20, recognition of the 102nd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide. As you all know, this piece of legislation was introduced last week by Holly Senate President Jacob Wilbaum and Holly President Ryan O'Hara. I'm not sure if you all saw the article in the State Press yesterday. The letter to the editor titled ASU Armenian and Syrian Community Statement on Recent ASU Armenian Genocide Recognition, where the Armenian Student Association and Syrian Student Association directly asked for all state governments to pass this legislation. I think with that in mind, this is a very important bill here, or resolution here, as well as standing with our peers as college. Senator Robinson.
Yeah, I got to report the decision on this, and I know where it's from. I just don't think that this is something within the scope of what USGD or USGD or any organization should be doing, that's in my personal opinion. I know that it's a first read, so we can look at it, or we'll vote on it the next time we move to second reading, but I just don't see this, and I don't know the rest of the but I just don't see this as something, that USGD should be taking a stance on, and I think that there's a lot more productive ways to be using that money, but the impacts of students, not just like.
I was just gonna say, I think taking a stance is kind of beginning where it starts off, so like knowing that where an organization comes from, kind of sends a message, and then kind of brings that conversation for other projects.
So, before Senator Newberry, I know that Senate President Wilbaum had a few Armenian constituents come to him and ask for this piece of legislation to be drafted and proposed within the Senate. Within downtown, I don't know. Within Tempe, I don't know. In terms of constituents in the downtown or Tempe campus, because I don't know where the Armenian Student Association is based. I would assume Tempe. This is the first very much overt, other than Senate President Wilbaum getting constituent feedback and constituent input over a piece of, or rather support this piece of legislation. Senator Newberry, Cordova, and the opposite direction.
So, Senator, what? Who was the one that presented this to us at Congress?
Senator President Jacob Wilbaum.
Okay, from what campus? All of them. So, you don't have any student feedback on this from downtown. So, I don't think it's right for us to be supporting something blindly, just from the process.
Senator Cordova.
Pro, say.
Senator Robinson.
Yeah, would this constituent that came to, Jacob and, Holly, when you willing to call into the next meeting and explain?
Yeah, I can definitely reach out to that.
Just because I think that will all the things from as well as maybe they're listening. Like I get to do that every resolution, and I don't think that is super pertinent to this one either. But at least you post something about this on our Facebook page, or making know that this is something we're doing. Also, a question, administration, like this, so we're this business petitioning them, like ASU as a whole, am I right?
I would say that the immediate act is for us to simply recognize that the Armenian genocide did in fact happen, just the recognition of the fact, as well as asking ASU to commemorate it.
As it like a day off?
No, not at all.
As what?
Just as a thing, as a anniversary, like not formally, not officially. I mean,
like, are they on the calendar?
President Chamberlain.
So in terms of recognition, symbolic nature, recognizing this event, similar to the way in which the women have necessarily be specific day, more of a recognition, recognition is common throughout the work of this organization, and we work extensively throughout not only this legislature, the first semester of the last legislature as well, passing resolutions before the Indigenous Peoples Day. I understand your concerns relative to there not being feedback collected personally to the downtown campus, but I definitely think it is something we're asking as a worth looking into with the numbers on. But I do understand the reservations in not having feedback collected specifically downtown. That is definitely something that we want to have on possibility of that.
We're gonna go Director Lee, then Senator Newberry.
So, earlier this year, the city council voted to commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day. The difference between celebrating or having day off and like commemorating is that we are recognized as something that is important culturally or kind of society. So it would be in the same sense that we passed a resolution that was us commemorating Indigenous Peoples Day. This would be very similar to that.
Senator Newberry.
So, I really like what Senator Robinson said about having the students from Poly call in or be here. I have zero context for this resolution, like, in terms of like downtown, like, there's nothing. Or ASU in general, like, I haven't heard from anybody about this, except for, of course, the
Senator Robinson. Is there any more discussion on the floor? Is there a motion to move this to second reading so of next reading so we can have those students all in and have further discussion on this matter?
I'm going to move this into budget. Yes.
Is there a second? Now moving on to second reading legislation. Oh, sorry. Are there any objections? Seeing none. Second reading legislation. Senate Resolution 17. I need to make it, or rather, we need to make an amendment to this real quick. Changing 13th legislature to 14th legislature, and changing March 17th to March 31st. Is there a motion to amend? Oh yeah, sorry, 14th regular session. Is there a motion to amend? Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, I'll change it real quick. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Senator Newberry and Senator Robinson, would you like to discuss this resolution further?
I have anything on it. I wasn't here at the last meeting when it was discussed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I may also hearing that. So, really question about
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so additionally, this bill passed an education and then was held in rules by Representative Mesnard, so this would be a symbolic recognition, or symbolic support about it. As this won't be perfect as this. So we could table it or it could be symbolic. It could be, we support this piece of legislation and we support all pieces of legislation in the future. Well, it would not directly say that, it would support this idea. Or you can table it if you want to.
I mean,
So, I think we are looking hypothetically, before the legislature actually ends, it could be heard. So if you still are in favor of this, you should support it. Or you should, yeah.
So, thank you for that. I definitely think that we should still support it. There's nothing written in here about what we're gonna do, but being that it could actually be, like it could still be heard. I don't know if this needs to be added in writing, but like, we could work on a letter.
I don't think that needs to be added. You can just draft a letter, or we can draft a letter.
Okay. And verbally, that's what we're going to.
Yeah, of course. It is actually technically on the record as it is in the minutes. Awesome. Senator Cordova, did you have a point, or were you going to? Okay. Is there any further discussion on this legislation? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve by? Is there a motion to approve by acclamation, or would you rather do roll call? Is there a second? Are there any objections? Seeing none, Senate Resolution 17 is approved by acclamation. Now moving on to executive report, starting with President Dave.
All right, I'm so sorry to continue my meetings for you long. First and foremost, happy Friday, everyone. Congratulations on recent executive institution life. We'll do next year, as we start the transition into next year, the application process will start to soon for vote on the executive board, the open seats, in terms of even the UBC positions we have right now. I'm extremely excited that the head nature of both the election and position setting process. My main work about the last 2 weeks has really been question presentations with the response to the question proposal. I'm extremely excited for an to announce the position presentation extremely well. But I cannot reveal the specific dollar amounts yet. I feel like we're to expand the partnership with the ASU Sexual Violence Prevention Education, EAP sports clubs, and supports organization. As far as the council of presidents, we're having a rundown of what we talked about. We're doing the total number of awardees in the Sunday School Child Care Initiative that all 5 branches of ASU reviewed to be awarded upwards of $100,000 in aid to parents who are also stuck level. So it's extremely exciting to see all our initiatives directly impacting the lives of our students. Additionally, council presidents met with the ASU market to discuss development, and we're trying to run through this list extremely quickly. But touching on the most important thing, there's been a shift in dialogue rather than having what they describe tagline. So transitioning from the #1 in innovation graphics to stories more relative about the success of students. So we've seen more increased advertisements pertaining to student success stories coming out from Arizona Public. Curriculums are being named to settle for that. Messages of excellence are positively impacting the ASU learning perception. The recent poll suggests with the notion that ASU is just a party school is only as messages of excellence are becoming more mainstream and launched into the surrounding, not only communities at ASU specifically, but then outwardly in Arizona, but across the country as well. Really? Okay, sorry. I'm losing my voice. Additionally, we're scheduling a future meeting to discuss marketing hub trainings for student organizations, Sunbelt Reward Act, and improvements to on-campus marketing. So there are marketing or PR directors returning in the spring next year. There are definitely trainings forthcoming on the topic. The council presidents also met with the ASU Sexual Violence Prevention and Education Program team to discuss partnerships between ASU and their departments. There's potential for legislation that could be crafted to further expand our partnerships with the Sunbelt Support Network in that team. So I'll brief senators on that following this meeting. Update on the Supreme Court. Since your nomination last week, the Supreme Court has been extremely active. They are currently in the process of making much needed changes to the rules of the court. In addition, the court will start hearing cases next week. Unfortunately, a little bit of sad news, the letter sent to the Education and Rules Committee voicing our support of House Bill 2361 never received a response, and consequently, that will not be heard during the session. Thank you to all those involved in that process, especially Senate President Smith. Vice President Policy, are working with the entire Senate for really voicing their support in that, as it was our belief in an incredibly important resolution. It's unfortunate it wasn't picked up by our state legislature, but we'll try again next time. Finally, a few reminders. Devil's in Disguise is tomorrow. Shout out to Chief of Staff Yvonne for all the hard work that you've done on the event. I hope to see many of you there. The award is next week, so myself, our Vice President of Policy, Director of State Municipal Affairs, and our Director of Finance will be attending. So if you have any questions you would like us to ask the Regents, or any information you would like us to bring back relative to the tuition proposal and any specifics, please let us know. Additionally, Pride Fest is next Tuesday from 6 to 9 p.m. I know a lot of hard work has been put in this event by the big foreman. We see you all there. And lastly, please have a restful and safe weekend. There's a ton of people in downtown Phoenix to visit the final floor, so please drive carefully and walk carefully. And then if you go to any of the concerts, please have fun, make good choices, go down, have a good weekend.
And now moving on to thank you. Vice President of Policy.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President. So a lot of ABOR this week. On Tuesday, 5 to 7 p.m., ABOR allowed students to give comments on the recent tuition proposals. It was rather a quiet year in comparison to other years in regards to comments. However, there was one student who had some very critical comments of the administration. So I was able to speak with that student afterwards, connect with them, and allow them to connect with student government. And the reason I bring that up is because it's really important for us to be meeting concerned students before it's voiced in a form like that. That way we're able to help give them the information for them to be most prepared in those kinds of forums. So please, once again, be talking with your constituents, let them know what the tuition proposals are. And then also, this week, the House majority budget was released. It includes still $15 million in one-time funding for universities. However, it strikes the bonding measure that the government has been pushing for, which would essentially allow the universities to keep the sales tax revenue that is produced when they purchase basically buildings, built buildings. So that is something that might be of interest to us, and that directly affects our universities. So I will be in further contact with all of you in regards to updates on that and the debate surrounding those questions. Jackson covered next week is April. Next Tuesday, I'm going to be doing basically an all-day office hours over at Starbucks. That way, if students have any more concerns about tuition, they can come talk to me. You're welcome to come as well, but I really want to make sure that before we go down to ABOR and talk about tuition, that all of our students feel like they've had the chance to make their voice heard on the issue. So please, if you do have a student question that you can't answer, I'm more than happy to help answer those kinds of questions. So please be in talk to your constituents. And that goes for this last week. I've been answering a lot of questions. The primary question about tuition is why is it going up? This week, myself and Director Lee were able to attend the ABOR tuition workshop, which was yesterday from 10 a.m. to about 3 o'clock, just discussing where all the dollars are going towards. I have all the numbers, I can email those to you, but primarily most of our dollars are going to be going towards programs that support fees, so putting extra dollars towards those, as well as helping maintain dollars for faculty members, bringing more faculty because we're adding more students. And then this morning I was able to attend a legislative breakfast over at the Tempe campus. Thanks to our good friends, the Andrew Gibbon Foundation, who hosted a couple of legislators. It was a very good conversation. We were able to bring up university funding a little bit, and a majority member was very willing and enthusiastic to speak with us and further comments about university funding. So with permission from our president, I'm hoping that our policy team and our interns can start meeting Wednesday or the next month as it seems the budget process is now full view. And then I just want to give a quick shout out to our intern, Allie Perkins, for helping me out this morning, answering a few questions on tuition. She's been very helpful this week, so thank you to her. And then, of course, if you have any further questions about tuition, please let me know. It is something that we need to make sure that we're making notes for. So that.
Vice President of Services, Awesome. So Ernie says, this week I have been finalizing Pride Fest, which will be next week on April 4th from 6 to 9 p.m. Civic Space Park. Our very own DJ Dave Mail, the OP festivities, will have resources for student awards and nonprofits in this week's celebration of individuality. We have obtained updated numbers for the Seminole Express, and I will upload those all to the public drive tonight. I'm contacting with Parking and Transit Services next week to continue discussion about other transportation services. I want to thank our entire Senate for being proactive with the Seminole Express discussions. Currently working with Buddy for past the pitch work as RSO training for renewed and RSO training for renewed new student organizations. There's no STC this month. I'm working on coalition leaders for attendees to have a meet and greet in the month of April, which will count as the Seminole Coalition. Lastly, I met with Dr. Krasnow about Devils for Devils, a mental illness university-wide initiative. He and his team is focused on peer-to-peer support, and we are working together to establish a future focus on education for our students. After my tenure, I will still be focused on mental health awareness and advocacy, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us to help you in these initiatives. Now, give the floor to Nathos, Services. Now moving on to Shima Saturday.
Okay, so first things first, can you please my name is Cheyenne. So it's really awesome that we have an intern who is a most valuable player. She was really active in helping with passports, working through our director of local affairs. And I'm doing this without having an intern, so I've been working on the e-course. Thank you to those of you who have participated in filming. It was relatively much easier for me to film than I thought it would be. So I'm bringing those out really quickly. So our course should be done. I'm not going to say next week, but I'll say the next week, the week after that. And then you guys will take it and see about it. You all don't have to take it, but I would appreciate it if you did. Regarding doubles in disguise, please wear comfortable clothing. I'm pretty sure we're going to be inside, but just in case, making shorts or something like that, and tennis shoes, you have to wear closed-toed shoes, and you will be getting a t-shirt. So when you signed up, you should have given them your t-shirt size, so then you can get more money. Jackson will be picking up breakfast for us, so we will have that in the office if you want to eat. Probably have 7:45, 7:30. And hopefully the office be open. No? Okay, so then we'll get outside. I don't know whether it's and I sent you all out a really long legislative proposal that I all hope that you have that. Well, everyone is super which I'm so sorry about. But I hope you guys all have the opportunity to read that and make some of those changes. And I'm willing to talk anytime about anything that I mentioned. I know that it was really long, it was 6 pages on Google Docs. So I am willing to help, like, all these ideas. It was really sad, but I'll send it to you. But yeah. So, that
Okay, we're gonna go Council Director of Admin and go over to the Director of Public Relations.
Hi everyone, so this week I started working on the Sun Devil Star project, which is basically a student of the month type project. It allows students to nominate fellow students who go above and beyond what it means to be a Sun Devil and show like pride, emotions, and everything. So I made some flyers promoting that, and I made a Google survey that allows students to nominate them through that, so I can see who's been nominated. And then blog posts, executive board are due this Monday, April 3rd, and then Senate is due Monday, April 3rd. And I do.
Awesome. Now moving on to the director of marketing.
Hello. Sorry. So Marianne and I are working on Earth Day marketing in the interest of like Earth on Earth Day. We decided to reuse marketing from Passport. You know, we making open the lawn signs and big posters that we use for Passport. I think it's a really good idea. It works well with the whole theme of Earth Day and everything. So I'm super excited. And I also think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'd like to open that up to everyone to help. I emailed you guys, some of you have responded, so if you haven't responded, please respond. So we can get that marketing finished and posted. Caitlin and I are working on the calendar. It's proving to be more difficult than we thought, so we're gonna keep working at it and we'll let you know our progress. On a less happy note, our shares have been pretty pathetic on social media in the last couple of weeks. And I'll explain that I don't always let you guys know, like when I post something, where I do tell you, like when I do post something for me, there should be at least 20 shares or retweets on it, because there's more than that amount of people in our organization. So our Facebook is working on reach the followers that we have. So in order to reach more, we need to share it on our personal pages so that we can reach our personal followers. And I get it, like my grandma follows me on Facebook. She doesn't care like what we're doing in USGD, but like, you know, you can post it and then like hide it after the event or whatever. I don't really care. Just post it until the event happens. So thank you. It's always easy to be posted on that.
Yes, Senator DeBay.
Yeah.
If you have the chance, when you send us the tag quickly, like if you could include like the link, if you can't include it, that's fine.
Okay, well, that's a good idea.
Because sometimes like I'll see a post that you post with them like going between that and then actually.
Yeah.
reflect the.
Yeah, so that's a really good idea. And if you guys, that's a good point, because like if you guys, I'm trying to make it easier on you guys. So if you have anything like that would be easier for you, just let me know. I can make that happen. Thank you.
Now moving on to the director of finance.
All right. So far we've allocated to students $181,025, and we have $71,414. We only have 2 more days of meetings left. So if you know any student boards that are needing funding, let them know that they can as soon as they can, because we only have 2 more chances to get money with the main meeting. Also, it was brought up in DAC that we should have a cheat sheet for our policies, because often our rules are very confusing for students, and it's easier if we have it stated like in a little cheat sheet for them to look at and be like, okay, I can only spend $451. So I already have 1 volunteer for this project, but if anyone else wants to help me, volunteers, if anyone else wants to help me, just let me know. And thank you to, was it in EAC? Thank you for that idea. I appreciate it. Also, as President David wants to let me know if you need help advocating for any.
Yeah, excuse me, can someone talk on the line?
It was me, Jackson.
Okay. Awesome. Now moving on to the director of local affairs.
Hi everyone, happy Friday. So first up, our committee event for the year executive board, looking here next time our community here, and it'll be in the student center, April 5th from 12 to 3. So if you're available, I'm gonna send out the second sheet really soon, so just keep an eye out for that and send out your availability. It's really a casual event, so if you guys just wanna, you know, even from your class, just come on in and hang out, just have music playing and yeah, stuff like that. And then our next event after that, big market, working with the AC, getting that spread away, we've done one day marketing. As she said, we're gonna do kind of a district meeting, kind of get together to get all this done at the same time. So please email her back here, she will set the time for that.
Now moving on to the director of state and municipal affairs.
In some form, most of USD updates have taken my place before, so anything else that I would add would probably be I'll just skip that. As usual, I'm going to bug you about send it again. It was rescheduled, so it's next Tuesday in like 4 days we're doing that. And I would highly suggest that you go, especially if you plan on returning in any capacity next year. Either at 6 or 7. I don't know if it was supposed to be a 7 this week, so I don't know if they're going to do it again. But let me know if you want to go. You should want to go. As has been said before, if you have any questions or things you want brought up at a board with ASD or ASUA, let us know. I think Senator Cordova.
Oh, yes, Senator.
So were you able to get enough people to look into the board?
No.
I would recommend that maybe you got the list.
It's too late. All the paperwork has been filed. We try to get that done at least a week before. It would be a good idea for them to come, but I'm also hesitant to bring people who aren't technically part of our organization yet, because I'm responsible for people who actually aren't employed by the school. So I don't really want to do that anyway. But to answer your question, no. I'm a little disappointed that Jackson and I are going to be bringing people that are ready to go to A4 and nobody wanted to go at all. So next year, for those returning, I'm going to warn you, it's going to be mandatory at some point for every single person in the organization to go to a A4 meeting. I don't know how we can get that done yet, because there's some logistics issues with issuing strikes for not going, because I couldn't do that until like the last meeting, and then you get one strike at the end of the year for not going to any of the 4 or 5 available. So I don't know how I'm going to work that logistically, but it's incredibly important for me and I think our organization that we all end up going to A4 meetings at some point. So that's going to be a requirement next year. Does that answer your question?
Did you have another point?
Unless anybody else has any questions.
So now moving on to my report. I've almost finished writing the recommendation. I'm going to bring that to caucus on Friday. The strike policy, Jade and I, or rather, Stephanie Vaughn and I, were unable to meet this week. We were trying to shoot Monday, Tuesday, but I started drafting that just in terms of wording. I've not gone through the specifics because I know it'll change based on what Chief Stephanie Vaughn wants. In terms of your concerns about, or rather, Senate's concerns about the Armenian genocide resolution, I've already started contacting Senate President Gilbaum as well as emailed the Armenian students, the students and the Syrian Student Association to have them either attend caucus, meet with me, meet with any other senators, or attend Senate next or in 2 cycles or 2 weeks rather. It turned to no, that's it for me. Good. Yeah. Now moving on to Senator Kurtz.
So I have an emergency and I'm in the office. I'll probably be out of town next week. So unexpected, but the last week, Senator Bill and I met with college public affairs, their faculty, faculty are really good information. The relationship between public affairs and their and a lot of internal problems. So we're going to be able to game and we're going to have a meeting with something this week or next week.
Now moving on to CHS senators.
So my office hours this week a getting survey that we tabled yesterday or tabled yesterday and didn't get quite as responsive as we would, so I can't make any conclusions based on those yet. And then also worked on legislation this week. It's not really being proposed, but we're looking at changing
process of signing legislation matches, I think that will wait this year. And don't have enough yet on the insert. So, since I put on that subject.
So, I've been working with media, on, the working hours of the work thingy, but then they're having our first meeting on April 11th, to talk to our advisor, they're attending, very fair to hear that. And then, other than that, on personal note, I should get my social security number done. And so you guys don't see me next month, something like that. I'll get that one. So I've been around to our offices, downtown offices, to get a letter. But then I don't know why it's so hard to get a letter, but then I thought if I write a letter today, so I went there, I did wrong, and I found it. So, you know, I mean, I'll be here, but.
Let's move on to the seats, Senator. Let's start with Senator Rudd and Senator Joe.
So this week, I was working on doing Safeway as a vendor for our birthday. I need to do a little more for it, so I'll try to get it by this Wednesday. Also got Mr. Rowan with Senator Ryan, and it was kind of sad that I was going to be on the last meeting with Mr. Rowan. But Senator had some really great ideas about how to get students involved. It'll be online, doing like live streams of all welcome and doing all welcome for transfer students, since a lot of CC students are transfers and are attendees. So trying to work that out with him, he has some great ideas and
Awesome, Senator Joe.
So, my review, just on that Seattle last week, as everybody already knows, and then if anybody's even wondering where I am, I'm actually in Tempe, planning for events for the City of Racing Democracy Girls Night Out event, which includes Soledad O'Brien, as well as other diversity leaders in the community. So if anybody wonders where I am, that would be lit. And tomorrow, prepared for the Children's Democracy Lecture. Everybody in the Senate is welcome. Would love to see any and all kinds of faces in the evening, starting at 4 p.m. In addition to that, I also work closely with Senate President Smith. We will be still that meeting sometime next week to talk about the Director of Diversity and Inclusion. In addition to that, also met with Dwayne Rowan with Casey actually said, speaking about the things that we can do to get these students involved. I think the biggest thing for me was getting students involved and making sure that we come to them and not necessarily having them come to us. And so, Dean Rowan and Casey and I spoke very in depth about how we can make that happen. When Casey so awesome for these students specifically, as well as getting the CISA student leaders information on the website for CISA as well. In addition to all of that, reached out to the new CISA senator-elect from the other campuses to then plan how we can get the CISA welcome kind of coordinated. That way it can be across all three campuses. So waiting for responses on that. Other than that, those are my updates for this week. And everybody, I think, have a great weekend.
Awesome. Now moving on to the comments.
Being taken away from stress and
And I believe, Senator Doe is already on the line.
Yes, okay, so I told, I can't figure that all, but, there'll be a grand opening of the federal license from Happy Pavilion. So if you guys got that email, or like, our computer, that's really important. Bringing life into the culture.
Yeah, just example for update. We will be, we're currently putting on, going away party, but the difference is not exactly going away yet, so we'll do this bill, so she's willing to work with us for the rest of, however long it takes for that position, so this will be a part of the process as well, if we intend to be. She also accepts our relationship with USGD and her position as her executive position, is the Mind Research Center, which is a good relation to have, like, as an organization and as an organization. From my end, the only thing that really is we're working on figuring out an executive board for our relationships with Garrett and Dr. Stevens has put together a different posters and a new students that are interested in the executive position, just discussing the role further in our applications for club and connections. So that is currently being said, there's a survey going on, seeing students, how many students have availability and stuff up in the air.
Now moving on to the conference centers.
So Senator Cordova and I this past weekend attended the first ever global leadership conference hosted by the college. It was pretty exciting. We didn't really have to worry about planning of it, but we felt that the whole line was here. But I think it was a great experience. The turnout was pretty good. I know that they're encouraging everyone to sort of like here's about how great it was, and hopefully this year they'll have a bigger crowd. But we invited people, sort of entrepreneurs, leaders with the League of America and a lot of things on that. So that's learned a lot about different perspectives and just sort of leadership strategies. It overall was a great experience. This week I have they were doing a couple bills and resolutions, one of which we discussed today, and then I'm currently working on a couple other ones that we're going to be posting with those communities. Like Senator Hernandez mentioned, we attended the top of this conference, Senator Hernandez was there as well. That kind of gives us the opportunity for me to connect with other students who are having this really hard didn't know I'm looking at like internship programs in different schools. And I found out that it's not just the school of public affairs that we're running accreditation internships, it's also the social work one. So I've been meeting with a few social work students to talk about like how their experience with internship is. Some use it and reach out to other students in college from different schools and see what they're about. Also this week we spent with Senator Joseph regarding legislation that was implemented, but we're still looking at completely, or like looking into different processes within the bylaws and trying to update it when it comes to like adding legislation. That's what we'll be working on soon as well. Other than that,
Now moving on to the conference centers.
So we got our funding in May, that's good news, that was really exciting. So thanks for that, everyone. We're going to be working on getting a coordinator for that, and we're going to be talking to the individual competitors, so that works all the way around. As far as what I've been working on this week, I've been working on a lot with EAC stuff. I contacted Connector and I'm going to recontact Johnny Vendor, get one more vendors. We are also going to be working
Yes, excited about it, but thank you all for that. John and I are meeting next week to go over purchasing because of the amount. It's going to take a little bit more of a process to order it and get funding for it. So yeah, thank you all for that. College Council will be hosting a dinner for Convict students, up to 50 Convict students, April 19th. So I've been running along on that. And this morning I participated on a panel with all Convict donors, South Carolina, and and then Birthday Market, just a note that Dean Callahan did mention that, I don't know how accurate it was, but he did say that, only 10% of what the contact school operates on is like from the state. The rest of it is like from our donors and from the student tuition, so. Birthday Market, we are wrapping that up, and there will be a budget BAC funding request, next week for that, and mark your calendars for also Wednesday, April 19th. It's all day, setup starts at 9 a.m. and cleanups, and then the event starts at 10 a.m. The event ends at 2 p.m. and that's when cleanup starts. It's mandatory for BAC unless it's work, internship, or class. So, Mary Ann, I don't know if you want to make that one. Executive board thing also, but it's kind of a big event and it's a lot of fun and it's basically all day, so there's lots of opportunity to do that in. Yeah.
Now moving on to administrative reports. How are you doing?
Hi. Apologize for the party.
All good.
Okay, kind of, we have 5 things to talk about, but I do have some questions, or actually some updates. The first one is I sent an email out to all of you asking to participate in new student orientation. Deadline to submit, put your name to the Google Doc is today, and I only have 3 people that have signed up for it, so I just need to know if you all are that committed to being part of orientation, otherwise we can just remove the table and that. So please let me sign up and then I'll have that conversation on Monday with Peter. Pittsburgh Awards registrations are up and live, so make sure to sign up for that. And third is David wanted me to mention to you that Jay said she was going to have the breakfast tomorrow for Devils in Disguise, but there's breakfast burritos for the purchase. So no need to do that if you don't want it. If you want to just send them all over there and just have breakfast. He just wanted me to mention that to you. Other than that, please take care of yourselves in this time where you're also ending the semester. Questions?
Yes. On the new student orientation sheet, for all of the new student orientations, going to be from 2:30 to 3:30.
The university information fair is 2:30 to 3:30 this year. I know last year was 7:30, so that
PM or AM?
PM.
Last year there was 7:30.
Also, you only have slots for 2 representatives, can multiple, more than 2 attend?
Yeah, but these on these the very least.
Okay, well.
One of the questions that was asked of me in the past is if I'm not going to be a part of student government in the future, do I have to be at these events? I'm not going to say yes or no to that, but you're still are able to advocate for a progressive student government and your students. So this is just a promotion for what you do as an organization and what kind of support our students have coming in. So it really should go beyond your position and more from a student advocacy point.
was sent, I think, Thursday. Last Thursday? Okay. Also, happy belated birthday to President Dayton. And Senator Dunphy. Do you want this one?
That's it, unless there's any more questions.
Awesome. Are there any? Now moving on to new business, seeing none, while moving on to old business, seeing none. Are there any final statements?
Director Lee, my final statement is regarding the first piece of legislation that we discussed. I didn't want to, it's not relevant to this specific piece that I said wait out, but regarding following up on legislation. So the earlier piece of legislation introduced by Senator Joseph regarding smoking on campus. I think what is probably the best idea moving forward to ensure that there is a follow-up is to identify in the legislation who's responsible for following up. So I would say probably that would go under EAC. So EAC is a committee, depending on what the legislation is about. So if it's internal regarding our operations, with GovOps, if it's somehow external things that are happening on campus, that's more of an EAC thing. And then EAC could then employ the assistance of any relevant directors that would help. So I think that's something you could do to ensure that somebody's actually doing something, is state in the legislation the responsible body for following up. And I think that would actually help EAC or GovOps to have specific things that they need to follow up on and make sure are being addressed. So that would be my suggestion. Otherwise, that's all.
You have a final statement? You explain a bit? President Jacob?
Yeah, so a few final statements. Dinner and dialogue is next Thursday. I forgot to mention this in my update. So in addition to the tabling that the ASU will be doing on Taylor Mall, in addition to the tabling that the ASU Sexual Violence Education and Prevention Society on Taylor Mall, we're hosting their big event that night, I believe from 6 to 8 p.m. And Health More Important 10 for those on the DAC. That was the event that I requested funding from before. So I'd be really excited if you could share marketing for that event once I send it to you all. And then last but not least, as I mentioned earlier in my updates, and you might not have heard me, but sort of mumbling, executive board, Senate positions, UBC positions, and internship position applications will be going up next week or next year. So thank you all for your hard work. Keep it real. Go safe. Make your choices. Go down.
Final statement?
Final statement related to that.
Yeah. Okay.
EAC wants to also promote open positions at Data next week. So I did a Google assignment to get anything that we can get to promote that. And then also any marketing that we can get for this event.
Any other final statements? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting at 4:27 p.m.? Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned at 4:27 p.m. We're live.